Hey guys, this is Steph Sanity and welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to do another monthly setup in my bullet journal with you guys, and this month is going to be so different from my usual style, so I think you guys are going to enjoy this. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments and be sure to subscribe. I always spend about the first minute going over the main supplies that I'm going to use in the video, so I'm just showing you all of them here and then I'll link them down below and then some. I'll be pulling a sheet out of this scrapbook pad that I got from Hobby Lobby and flipping through to show you some of the selection that you have in this pad, but I also need some tape and scissors so I can incorporate one of those pages. Flipping to the next page, we're going to start off with the title page, and this month's theme is going to be pineapples. I'm so excited about this. I wanted to get very creative and challenge myself because I usually go for simple minimalistic styles, but I wanted to add some color and just some fun, especially for the summer. So I'm adding a little pina colada type drink right here with a pineapple on the glass, a cherry and an umbrella, and a straw out the side. I'm not the best with drawing, but I'm going for it anyway and giving it my best shot just to show you guys you don't have to be a professional or even really good artistically to add some fun into your bullet journal. Just take some chances and make it fun and learn as you go. You'll get better. I think by the end of the month I'll be a lot better with drawing pineapples. So I did use two different shades of like orangey yellow tones. So I didn't want to go too vibrant yellow, especially because it wouldn't show up super well against the background of the page. So I did go with this orangier tone. So it doesn't look like pineapple chunks under July as much as it probably should, but I like the way it turned out and I wanted to stick with this color. So I'm just adding some shadows and highlights to the word July and just making it as pineapple themed as possible with my drawings around the title. And then below the title, I'm doing my usual little calendar for reference. And then moving on to, like I said, I'm using scrapbook paper, and I liked this gold and white striped paper. Stripes is my favorite pattern, and I thought the colors really applied well with the overall aesthetic that I was going for. So I just glued a triangle of the scrapbook paper to each corner of these pages because they're going to go together. Rather than doing my single page monthly overview, I'm doing a very large July at a glance page. And rather than drawing a huge calendar, I don't typically use those very much because you can't fit a lot of words in the boxes of the calendar, so I went with something completely different. For the lettering, I made the tops green and the rest of the letters gold. I thought this was an amazing way to subtly add in the pineapple look. I'm sectioning off the page for each week, so I'm just drawing lines across the page, and I did draw these out in pencil ahead of time. That way I could make sure that they were all even, and then I'll go in and add some color to these lines to make them a little bit bolder and to stand out against each other here shortly. And then when I'm writing in the scrapbook paper, this was kind of like a last minute decision, but on the left hand side, I wanted to write that these are my daily plans. That's what's going to go on that left page, and on the right page, I'm writing our work schedule. One of the reasons this works so well for me is because Kenny has a schedule that changes very frequently. No week is going to be the same. And then for me, working for myself part-time, that's never the same as well. And then I do have my normal hours during the week that I work my other job, but I always like keeping my personal life separate from my work life, and this is, I feel like, the perfect way to do that. And I think this format's going to work for me, but feel free if you recreate this to adjust it to whatever suits your lifestyle best. And I think this is going to work out well. I can jam pack a lot of information onto these 2 pages, which is exactly what I want. Moving on to the next page, we're going to do the habit tracker as always. I'm using the dark green to write out the title, and then I'm going to go back in with my gold pen and just add some shadow effects to the lettering. I just added some lines at the bottom of the letters to brighten it up with my Jelly Roll pen, which I love doing. So for this spread, I tried to make it so fun and different, and it is quite busy, but how appropriate is that for a habit tracker? The way this format's going to work is I'm making a separate pineapple for each habit. I'll put the habit in the actual leaves of the pineapple, and each leaf has like a letter or 2 in it. I'm alternating the colors green and gray, and then the gold and the orangey color, because I don't want it to be too monotonous with it being so busy. So in the remaining slots after the 31st, I'm making the little spikes to show you how I plan to fill this out. But if this confuses you, I do think every month I'm going to upload a video where I show you a full week of how I fill out my bullet journal, and I just record a clip each day and compile it. I did that recently in a video that was my first attempt at doing it, and I think it went over very well. So I'll link that down below, and go check that out and let me know if you would like me to continue doing those, because if you guys like it, I definitely will do that. Okay, so I'm just speeding through the remainder of this page just so it doesn't bore you guys, but I'm just doing the same thing and filling out the rest of my habits in the leaves. But moving on to the next page, this is my mood tracker, and I'm using the bright, vibrant orange and little strokes of green at the top of the letters, just because the habit tracker title was so dark and bold. I wanted to balance that out by making this a little bit brighter. And then once again, I'm doing something very different with this spread, but I didn't want it to be quite as busy as the habit tracker. Once again, I just wanted it to really balance out. I'm leaving space beside each week to write out a weekly summary, which I always try to do. This really helps me to track my moods and also notice patterns. If you see my previous monthly setup videos, then you know all about this. I go more in depth on there. But the point of this is to leave 5 slots beside each date so I can rank my mood out of 5 stars or 5 spikes in this case. So just like the habit tracker, I'll be filling this out with the little spikes to indicate how good my mood is. So if my mood is perfect, then I'll do 5 spikes within the pineapple next to that date. And if it's not so good, maybe I'll just do 1 spike. And then of course the summary is going to be where most of the importance lies in this page. So I was going to highlight the numbers of the week summaries, and I thought that was going to look really cool and bright and kind of tie in from the title, but I messed up on one of the numbers, so I'm actually blacking them out with my gray brush pen, and then I'm going to use my white Jelly Roll pen to write in the weeks over top of that, just correcting my mistake. Moving on to the next page, I'm doing something very new. I've never done this spread, but I'm calling it Pieces of Poetry because it's really important for me to start writing poetry again. It's something I've always done in the past, and it's kind of like a creative outlet for me. So I want to stay inspired to keep that hobby going. So I thought having a whole spread dedicated to that would be fun, and I will just pretty much jot down in little paragraph forms as the month goes on of any poetry that I'm working on. And any pieces of poetry that I like from the spread, I can carry it into my poetry journal, but having it in my bullet journal when I use it every day will just encourage me to write a little bit more. And then on the page beside that, this is going to be my budget page, and I had so much fun with this title trying to be creative. I just made little pineapples within the letters. So I'm making 4 separate sections. The first one is bills, the second one is going to be my purchases, the third one is my income, and the fourth one is notes. And I'm just shading in the background just to add some color to the page and also a little bit of privacy, so if anyone was flipping through or when I show this in my other videos, the details won't stand out so much. So moving on to the next page, this might be my favorite for the month, I'm not sure, but I'm drawing 2 large pineapples cut off on the outer sides of the page. page, and these pages aren't connected, but I just wanted that balance like I mentioned a bunch of times, and I thought that this was a good way to do it. So I'm writing the titles above the leaves of the pineapples, and on the left page it's going to be my goals for the month. And what I want to do is write out my affirmation, as I've been doing in my bullet journal each month. I want to write that down along with other goals. And then on the right page I'm doing my business ideas. So I'm just doing my usual shadow effect just to give some dimension to the letters. And then I'm going in with my Tombow pen and just adding some lines to look like the body of the pineapple in the thicker letters. But that is actually the last spread of the month. I'm not doing my weekly setups. I might do a separate video just showing you how I incorporate my theme and setup for the week, just like I did last month. So stay tuned and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it. Let me know what you thought of this theme, and if you plan to step outside of your usual style for this month and do something fun for the summer. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day or night. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.